at the thing in front. Well, no, it's not there. No, I thought it was gonna be up. We're in session and cause number 313-566-2. The case is styled the State of Texas versus Jasmine Haskins. Ms. Haskins, would you please come forward? Ms. Haskins, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Haskins, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Haskins? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Haskins, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about October 18 of 2016, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass. Ms. Haskins, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. Haskins, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest. No contest.
No contest? Ms. Haskins, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Haskins, I have before me a document that is titled State's Exhibit Number 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, on page 2 of this document, Ms. Haskins, there are a set of initials. One set of initials is on a line that's next to a box that's checked nolla contingere, which means no contest. And the next set of initials is below a paragraph that is titled Discovery Admonishment, and it is on a line that states, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Haskins, on page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Haskins, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Haskins, I have before me another document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature above the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And also, Ms. Haskins, we're waiving a record in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, Ms. Haskins, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did you have an opportunity to review the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you review the documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you reviewed?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 2 as well, the probable cause affidavit? She didn't plead no contest.
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you print off the PC? She can print it off. Make 2 copies of that if you can. Yes. Let me give a copy. See, so she can read. You could just read that after. State, you like to offer state's exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishments,
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
state's exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Haskins, the state is offering state's exhibit number 1 and state's exhibit number 2 to be used as evidence against you in your case. Now, state's exhibit number 1 is a document that have your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. State's exhibit number 2 is, I got it on both sides, okay, is what we call a probable cause affidavit or the police report. The state would like to use these 2 documents as evidence in your case. Is it all right for the state to use these documents as evidence in your case? You have to speak up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. No objections. State's exhibits number 1 and state's exhibit number 2 are admitted. Ms. Haskins, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? All right. And I take that by shaking your head like, you mean no? You say what?
No, sir.
What you say?
Saying, no, sir, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
The mask-
Oh, I couldn't hardly hear. Okay. Okay, Ms. Haskins, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
It's a 1-day county jail, and Ms. Haskins has a 1-day credit for that, so for cost, tax and retired, there's no fine.
Okay. Now, Ms. Haskins, the state is offering that you serve 1 day in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you do not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 1 day in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given what we call credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $342, but you would not have to pay that because the state is going to tax and retire your court costs, which means you won't have to pay it. Now, Ms. Haskins, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Haskins, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Haskins, you're going to stand on the X next to our court coordinator. You're gonna follow it right here, the first one. You're gonna follow her directions, and once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go. We're in session in clause number 328 212. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Daricetta Broussard. Broussard, would you please come forward? Ms. Broussard, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Broussard, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
You may put your hand down. How you doing, Ms. Broussard?
I'm blessed today. How are you?
I'm blessed as well, and thanks for asking. Ms. Broussard, I have before me a document that is titled failure to, a document that is titled the information. In this document, it alleges that on or about August 12th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of failure to identify a fugitive from justice. Ms. Broussard, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. Broussard, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
Guilty,
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
freely,
And are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
I'm guilty.
Okay, Ms. Broussard, I have before me another document. This document is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Ms. Broussard, there's 2 set of initials. The first set of initials is on a line next to a box that says check guilty. The second set of initials is below a paragraph that is titled discovery admonishment, and it is on a line that reads, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Where is the waivers and the other stuff that she signed? Just give him on all those cases. Okay, Ms. Okay, now Ms. Broussard. Are these your initials on this document, page 2?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of the same document, there's a signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled Trial Court Certification Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature above the line that's
Yes,
titled
sir.
Defendant?
Mhm.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Mhm.
Now, Ms. Broussard, I also have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Ms. Broussard, do you recognize this document?
Yes,
And is this your signature on this document?
yes, sir.
And are these your initials on the line that states, I want to waive my right to attorney and represent myself?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Broussard, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I've just mentioned, did you have an opportunity to review the documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you review the documents?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand what you reviewed?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Broussard, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State's Exhibit number 1 is the misdemeanor plea admonishment that you acknowledge that you recognize. On page 2 of this document is the document. It's your set of initials that you acknowledge. And on page 3 of this document is the signature at the top above the line is titled defendant that you acknowledge that was yours. Now, the state would like to use this document as evidence against you in your case. Is it all right for the state to use this document? Okay, no objection, states exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Ms. Broussard, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Ms. Broussard, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
The agreement is for 115 days county jail, credit for time served, tax and retired court costs.
Okay, now, Ms. Broussard, state is offering that you serve 115 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you've already served 115 days in Jefferson County Jail. And the court cost in this case is $337, but you will not have to pay the court costs because the time you spent in jail has already paid it off. Ms. Broussard, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
Okay, now, Ms. Broussard, I see here you had 115 days. Was you sitting in jail on another case as well?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, Ms. Broussard, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you entered into with the state. Ms. Broussard, just follow the stand on the X. You're gonna follow the directions of our court coordinator. And once you finish following in those directions, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. Okay?
That's your copy, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. You have a blessed day.
You too.
All right. Darius Lockett. Huh? No, she pled guilty. It wasn't a no contest. Hey, let's see. Hey, this is cause number 328222. Mr. Lockett, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Lockett, you may put your hand down. How you doing, Mr. Lockett?
I'm doing good, Mr. Margie.
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Lockett, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about September 24th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Mr. Lockett, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Lockett, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
No contest.
Now, you pleaded no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charge?
Correct.
Mr. Lockett, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Lockett, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Lockett, there's a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked nolo contendere, which means no contest. And there's another set of initials below a paragraph that is titled discovery admonishment, and it is on a line that reads, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Are these your initials on this document?
Yes.
On page 3 of the same document, Mr. Lockett, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, it is.
Is that your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, it is.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box states that you're waiving, which means you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, it is.
I also have before me, Mr. Lockett, a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Mr. Lockett, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
There's a set of initials on the line that states, I want to waive my right to an attorney and represent myself. Are these your initials next to this
Yes, it is.
statement? I also have before me a waiver of counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding to trial. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is.
Now, Mr. Lockett, these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did you read these documents?
Yes, I have.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, they are.
Okay. State, I have before me State's Exhibit. Hold on. State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. State, will you be offering State's Exhibit number 2 as well?
Yes, Your Honor, the probable cause affidavit in this case.
Okay. Mr. Lockett, the state is offering State's Exhibit number 1. That's the document that have your initials on page 2 and your signature on page 3. The state is also offering State's Exhibit number 2, which is the probable cause affidavit, commonly referred to as the police report. Okay. Is it all right for the state to use these documents as evidence in your case?
Yes, it is.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibits number 1 and State's Exhibit number 2 are admitted. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Lockett, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Mr. Lockett, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is for 90 days probated over 1 year, a $500 fine. The state is waiving any community service, a theft class, and restitution in the amount of $154.96 to AutoZone.
How much is the restitution?
$154.96.
154.96. Okay, Mr. Lockett. The state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $352, which comes to a total of $852. You will also be required to pay restitution in the amount of $154.96 to AutoZone. You'll also be required to pay probation fees of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Now, the total amount of money that you would have to pay each month on probation is $107. Excuse me, $170. Will you be able to pay the $170 each month?
Yes.
You will? Okay. Now, Mr. Lockett, the state is waiving community service, so you won't have to do any community service on this case. You'll be required to attend and complete a theft class. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. Lockett, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, I do.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now, Mr. Lockett, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you've entered into with the state. Mr. Lockett, stand on the X in front of our court clerk, and once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, you as well.
All right, thank you.
Who swears to never been convicted or given the further adjudication of regular probation or misdemeanor or felony in this or any other state? Do you have any other pending charges against you? Okay. Once you leave here, you are to report to probation. They're at lunch right now, but this is the number they want you to call before you enter the building, okay?
Will
You're welcome.
You have another one? I see Jose Martinez. Okay,
Yeah, he's the last one.
And Mr. Kelly, Your Honor, I believe he wants the court-appointed attorney now. We get
okay, we'll get to that. Okay. You have that, treasurer? Yes, we're in session and cause number 330210. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Jose Martinez Jr. Mr. Martinez, would you come forward? Is your name Jose Juan Martinez Jr.? Okay, Mr. Martinez, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Martinez, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Martinez? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Martinez, I have before me a document that is titled Information. And in this document, it alleges that on or about July 12th of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of assault, family violence. Mr. Martinez, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Martinez, how do you plead guilty? Not guilty or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Mr. Martinez, I have before me a document that is titled the misdemeanor plea admonishments. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Martinez, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Martinez, there are two sets of initials. The first set of initials is on a line next to a box that's checked guilty.
Yes, sir.
Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
The second set of initials is below a paragraph and it is on a line that reads, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Now, are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez, are you a U.S. citizen?
I'm a resident.
Okay. Now, Mr. Martinez, on this document, it states under the paragraph that is titled citizenship,
Yes, sir.
and I'm gonna read this to you. If you are not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or nola contendere may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you still want to go forward with your plea bargain?
Well, yes, sir.
You do?
Well, really don't, but. I
Well,
mean,
if you don't,
I just said guilty and everything.
okay, hold on a minute. Let me do this here. Do you want to go forward with your plea bargain or not? Now, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I mean, I just read to you the paragraph of citizenship.
Yeah,
And so I'm asking you, do you still want to go forward with your plea bargain, understanding what this paragraph says?
I understand, sir. I understand.
Do you still want to go forward with your plea bargain?
Yes, sir.
You do? Okay, now let me do this here, Mr. Martinez. You need to initial that paragraph. Put your initials on the paragraph saying that you understand.
If I signed it, they will take my papers away?
I can't give you any legal advice. But I'll tell you this, if you do not want to go forward, I'm not going to accept the plea, and I'll reset this case so you can talk to a lawyer.
You're not gonna be penalized by us for that. I would still make you the same offer if you want to get an attorney that.
Yeah, I mean,
I can find an attorney for that.
okay, well, so what we're gonna do, I'm not gonna accept the plea bargain agreement. And what we're gonna do, give him one of those judge's explanations. And you say you're gonna find a lawyer, so that means you're gonna hire your own attorney, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the reason why I'm giving you that sheet again is because you need to make that change on that sheet. Your original sheet, which is right here, I'm gonna shred this.
Okay.
All right, so you need to make your change, your designation as to, and I think that's on what? Oh, okay, it's at the bottom. That would be the first line on the left, you'll put your initials. And it states, I want to reset this case to hire my own attorney. Okay, you can shred that.
Terrence, this is Angie, court two. Go in and delete. Gonna, the call number is 33021.
You can shred this too. Yeah. You shred it too.
You know, before I signed it, I didn't read the paper.
Okay,
No,
let,
I'm good in the.
okay,
Are you trying to see, I was.
Okay.
The citizenship.
oh, that's,
Because I'm working.
okay, let me do this here. Now, Mr. Martinez, you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to have an attorney to advise and counsel you, okay?
Yes, sir.
And the court is giving you an opportunity to get an attorney. I can't give you any legal advice, but you stated that you would like to hire an attorney, so I'm gonna reset this case so that you can hire your attorney, and your attorney could give you all the legal advice that you need,
Yes, sir.
okay? All right, so let me do this. Mr. Martinez, you're gonna stand on that 4X. Oh, not the first one, but the second one.
Mhm.
Yeah, to your left. And she's gonna reset your case. And once your case is reset, if you hire an attorney, your attorney is going to contact this court and notifying us that you've hired them. Or if not, you have to appear on that. Well, you still have to appear on that date.
Yes, sir.
All right. Stand on the 4X.
Okay, I still getting that.
Yeah, that's gonna be between yeah, you and your attorney. Okay,
Okay, well, I just make sure,
right.
so I know, so I don't have to miss the, call rate for probation.
When you hire an attorney, I'll send that same offer to them, so that way y'all can talk.
Here you go.
Okay.
Okay. Just have a seat right there in one of those chairs. What's the next gentleman? I didn't. Oh. let's see, he's gonna hire. Who is? Kelly Allen? You, Mr. Allen? Did you come forward? Did he sign a paper? Did he sign some documents? Mr. Allen, won't you come forward?
Yes, sir. Got right here, Judge.
And you're gonna stand on the X right in front of this bench? Okay, so he's making a change, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So he can maybe scratch through and put his change on the document. Now, Mr. Allen, go ahead on and make your change. I think initially you said you wanted to represent yourself. You want to waive your right to an attorney. However, you have changed your mind. And as the document states, you can change your mind at any point, and you just make your choice. The first choice is if you want to hire your own attorney, then you'll put your initials on that line. If you've already hired an attorney, you put your initials on the second line to the left. If you want to see if you qualify for court-appointed attorney, then you'll put your initials on the third line.
Yeah, she's gonna do it. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, you want to,
Okay. Now, he put it on the wrong. This one says I have a court-appointed attorney whose name is, that's the wrong one. He doesn't have a court-appointed attorney. If he wants one, it'll be line 3, not line 4. And you're going to be requesting a court-appointed attorney, is that correct? Okay, so now you're going to have to give him that financial questionnaire. They're going to give you a financial questionnaire so that you can fill out. If you need some assistance, we'll provide the assistance.
I did that already when I was in jail.
Oh, okay, we're gonna check.
I thought I did.
Okay, we're gonna 330204.
I don't have a magistrate.
Does he have an affidavit or anything? He don't have nothing in there?
He have a PC, but he don't have a magistrate where it would be, connected in his magistrate.
You're gonna have to fill out another one because it's not showing on our system. Okay. Now, Mr. Allen, you can sit at that table right there and fill it out. If you need some assistance, just let somebody, let the bailiff know, and we'll provide the assistance that you need to assist you with filling it out. All right?
I don't know if you want to shred that.
Yeah, he can shred this one. That one's gonna be shredded. Make sure we shred that one, not the new one.
Yeah, I put it with my. I got it. That's my team.
Here you go. This is I'm gonna leave the new one up here before, let me let y'all shred that first before, don't shred this one. Okay.